Yeah, exactly. Should be a heart-rending experience if I blew out twice, but no.
Yeah, right.
So basically how this is going to go is I've just got a list of questions here that kind of framework, and then just build, just if you think of anything that you think might be important or anything like that. And so basically it's just about kind of your experiences with bars and how you feel people interact with them and the things that you can put in place to kind of affect people and that sort of thing. So just first question, what would you say your favourite bar is and why, or the best bar you've been in before? That doesn't have to be one that you've worked at or anything like that.
That's a broad question.
recent one then.
Without being biased towards my bar.
You can be biased if you want. But.
I guess it depends what kind of night you're looking for, or what kind of experience you're looking for. Comfort and feeling welcome when you get into a bar. So first of all, is overall impression, like from the outside. If I would take, for instance, like Bermuda, I look at it from the outside, and it's got a nice sign outside, and it all looks very smart and stonework and everything. And then you walk in through the gate, and you've got the courtyard, which is a nice grand courtyard with nice wooden furniture, comfy cushions on the furniture, fireplace going, so it's nice and warm and cosy. And then you're looking through the window and you see a nice shiny back bar, and everyone looks well presented, and everyone looks attentive, and they're not just kind of sat there playing on Facebook on their phones or whatever. They're all staying to attention or having a bit of fun, having a bit of a party, which is what we want, because we want people to have that. So I kind of look for that as a general thing, but then there are the little extra touches which go a long way, that people coming to greet you with a smile and offering to sit you to a table as well. You don't find that in a bar. Most of the time you go in and you just sit at a bar or just grab yourself a table, but if people show you to like a nicer area, like for instance here, people come and sit at the bar downstairs, but if they look like they're going to be there for a while, then we suggest that they might come to the upstairs bar, where it's a bit more cosy, got the fireplace and couches to relax on and sit down on.
Yep.
So just going that extra mile.
Yeah. So Bermuda, you mentioned, is one of the examples of a good bar. So when you walk into Bermuda, so you've got the stonework and stuff. Mm-hmm. You've also got the security guard there. Is that something? How do you kind of expect those?
Yeah, in the evening times and the busy periods, we have security.
Yep.
And we use a very professional security company, and the guys are all wearing suits. With red ties, you can distinguish them from anybody else.
Yeah.
And they're just very personable, and they'll come around and they'll chat to you and have a laugh and a joke, and also be very professional and stand there on the door and look the part. I mean, some people, they do think the doormen look intimidating.
Yeah.
But that's the guys are just wearing rough and ready polo shirts, and all the rest of these guys look professional. They look the part, and they act the part as well. So.
Yeah, cool. So what would you say the worst bar you've ever been to would be, and why was that?
Worst bar? I don't name any names.
You can name any names you want, it'll all get edited out in the
I don't know, going into a bar that's like if there's just people just hanging around outside, like
just out front of the actual bar.
Yeah, well, just creating a crowd, and if they're all stood there smoking as well, that's another thing. So it's one of those things you notice even before you get into a bar. Is if there's groups of people stood around smoking, there's cigarette butts everywhere, and general cleanliness of the place and the feel. When you walk in, I don't know. It's I'm thinking of one particular bar. It's just always crowded. Do you know what I mean? That's a good thing for the business because it's busy. But when it takes you, 10-15 minutes to even get to the bar to be able to place an order, and then you're still waiting for that person to come back up and down the bar to take the order, and that's frustrating.
Yeah.
So getting served promptly was probably the biggest thing. I hate to sort of wait around and go in there when you want a drink. You want to get a drink fast. Cleanliness as well, like clean tables. There's nothing worse than going up to a bar and putting your arms in the bar and getting beer or
filth,
get moisture all over your arms and stuff like that. Good music to suit the atmosphere as well. There's no point having lounge music in a rowdy bar, and vice versa. So yeah, just general ambience,
Yeah.
presentation of the staff, and yeah, cleanliness of the toilets is a big one as well.
Yeah, and do you find like a lot of the time that gets let down in some of the bars you see?
Yeah, I mean that's my. I suppose the reason I pick up on all this is my job.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
pick up on this, I would go around the bars and check on the bars and make sure there's toilet roll and there's hand towels and that the toilets are working properly, that the lights are dimmed to the right setting. You know.
Yep. Cool. So, in your experience, what are some of the most common motivators for people to go out to a bar? Why do you think people go out?
Socialising.
Yep.
Obviously, to have a drink or two. Some people go out just to get rat-assed and get smashed, but yeah, obviously we're trying to control that, making sure that people drink responsibly and go home smile on the face at the end of the night.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, some people just come in just to sit and chat to the bartender. And in my experience as a bartender's role, bartender's not just the person that pours drinks, the bartender's a person who can listen to someone's story, and if they're down, try and pick them back up again. You know, they might have had a long, tough day of work, and they're just down in there, and they just want to have a beer and a chat to someone. So you can put a smile on their face on home at the end of the day, and then that's going to bring you. They're going to come back as long if they've had a good time. They're going to come back to your bar and keep chatting to you. You never know, you might make a friend for life.
Yeah, is that something you focus on a lot with your staff, is getting them to understand that they need to be able to form that relationship with the customer?
Definitely, yeah. It's one of those things, you've got to be personable. And if you can remember anybody's first name, and if you remember the first name from the start of the night and the end of the night, and especially the next time you see them, then that's, for me, that's a real big thing. And people will come back for that like one-on-one service. With our bars, they do tend to be quite quiet early on and busy later on, so you need somebody that's adaptable, somebody that can be there for that quiet period, spark up a conversation, and make people feel welcome. And then they can also go through a transition into the busy period at night time, where they're not still just spending 10-15 minutes chatting to somebody at the end of the bar.
Yeah.
They can break off that conversation and serve 5 other people, go back, chat to them for a second, and just do more than one thing at once, do multitasking, and having good initiative as well.
Yeah.
And knowing that you're going to be busy later on, so you can prep a few bits and pieces while you're chatting to the people at the bar. So
like that.
Not just standing there chatting to them, but doing other things at the same time.
Cool. And so, how do you kind of ingrain that your staff need to have those kind of skills? How do you, I guess, your hiring policies, or do you have incentives?
We have good screening policy when we're hiring people. So locals is good because they have local knowledge of obviously the goings on in and around town, and they also have everybody has their friends that follow them around as well.
Yeah.
And so if they've been around town for a while, they have a good friend following, which then they'll come into the bars and they'll chat to the staff, and it's one of those things we don't want people's like friends coming in and then they're just only chatting to their friends. Then sparking up a conversation with everybody in the bars, what we're aiming for. But with those screening processes, what we try and look for is somebody that's got get up and go and the personality about them, and then we can train them in our way of making the drinks and our way of service. But one of the big things for us is just having that initial spark and that get up and go and the ability to start a conversation. Last thing you want is somebody that stands in the corner and just polishes glasses or looking at their watch waiting for the time to pass by, you know?
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
So I guess you do have a pretty big emphasis on the interaction and kind of building the atmosphere through staff behaviour. How do you kind of motivate them to do that once they're in there? Because obviously, like, if they're having a down day or something, is there something that you kind of put in place just to keep them positive throughout every shift? Or
Yeah, we do incentives, staff incentives, and reward schemes.
Yep.
Give credit where it's due, and also reward staff between seasons as well. I think that's a big thing. Throwing a little party to say thank you for all your hard work over summer when we're going to start going into the shoulder period, and then again after winter.
Yep.
Just say thanks for a great winter, or even before the season, just say look, we're about to go into the busy season. Let's have a quick blowout and have a bit of fun, and then get serious and get down and dirty.
Yep.
Do it.
Nice. You said one of the reasons that people come into bars is for the social experience. How do you kind of facilitate that through the design of your bars or the things that you put in place? How do you help them achieve the ability to socialise and find other people?
Again, it's a tough one. I'd say it's It's making people feel comfortable to be able to come in on their own.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So they don't need a group to come in with.
Yeah. So if you go into a bar that's like full of rowdy groups, then you're going to feel put off. You're not going to want to go and sit there and have a quiet glass of wine and read your book and strike up some conversation with somebody. You're more likely to go and sit in a restaurant bar or lounge bar, which is not what we're after. Really, we want people to come out and experience the town and experience our bars and come on in. But it's making them not only feel comfortable with the people in the bar, but also having a comfortable place to sit as well. I mean, if you notice, all our furniture is nice and plush and soft and cosy and easy on the eye as well. Having that aspect and just making people feel welcome, pleasing thank yous and.
Yep. So again, come back to the staff as well.
Yeah.
Yep. So what would the ideal customer type for the bars that you've kind of got running at the moment, or that you're working with?
Our client base is more high end, so we're not going to be selling high volumes of slates. We're more. The bars do differ slightly in dynamics. Minibar, for instance, is more of a boutique beer bar, so you can go and sit in there with a bunch of mates, and it does have a bit more of a younger crowd and play slightly different style of music in there to what we would do in our other bars.
Yep.
But in Bardo, for instance, that's designed more as a sort of whiskey and wine bar, sort of fine spirits. It's got a large selection of Scotch whiskey and a good selection of wine, so that's kind of the main focus for there, with the cheese boards and sit by the fireplace in winter.
Yeah, so a lot of the après crowd.
Yeah. And with Bermuda, that's more of a party vibe. We have DJs Thursday, Friday and Saturday nights. It's a bigger area, so you can have kind of a dance floor as such. We've got the outside courtyard as well, which we can utilise. But yeah, I'd say we're definitely much more of a high-end crowd, and a slightly older crowd as well, especially at Bardo. Yeah. I'd say it's a more sort of 30s to 50s kind of bar, whereas Bermuda would be more sort of 25s to 45s.
Yep, cool. So what was the choice behind this market? Like,
again, you'd have to ask the shareholders for their initial thoughts on it. But
in terms of the town, like, why do you think that would be a good market to target?
And there are a lot of backpacker bars, and in Queenstown there's a lot of bars and restaurants per capita. So a lot of people have gone down the cheap drinks route. You've got, way over half the bars are cheap drink focused and drink promotions and high volume sales and all this kind of stuff. Whereas we're more comfort and class, and you want to get away from all that. You want to come and sit down and experience a good glass of wine, experience a good spirit, and have experience a good cocktail and have it served in the right way. And that's what we're all about. We're all about getting things done and doing them properly and to the best of the standard of what they should be.
Yep. Cool. So, in terms of like what kind of niche the bars occupy in social perception and what everyone would say, would this be the ideal kind of thing for what the situation needs in Queenstown right now?
I'd say we have a good niche. It all depends, like trends and flows around town, and what's happening in other bars and restaurants. But I think we're doing the right thing. I think we're focused pretty well in the right areas of the market.
So, in terms of the design of the bars, as the clientele that you've got in, were they the ones that everyone was expecting to come in?
Yeah, I would say so. Definitely. It has changed over the years as time's gone by, and you get a different crowd that follows the different places when a new bar opens in town. Obviously, some of your crowd are going to head off to that bar and see how that's going. If they like it, they'll stay, and then so that and for us that's obviously bad. We want to do something to get them back in and make them feel welcome.
Cool. So how do you expect your customers to behave and act when they're inside the bar?
Appropriately. And within the constraints of the law. We want them to have a party. We want them to, like I say, we're open to all kinds of things. As long as those people are comfortable and they're having a good time, and then we're happy.
Yep. So obviously different bars have different dynamics. Do you kind of feel that that's fluid based on the night and the crowd that's in, or do you have
Very
a
much so.
certain atmosphere that you want?
We play to what crowd are in the room.
Yeah.
For instance, it can go within the space of half an hour of being quiet lounge music, with people drinking wine and having cheese balls by the fireplace, to playing Rolling Stones loud and everybody drinking beer and cocktails.
And it's just based on the numbers, I guess?
It just depends on who comes in.
Yeah.
And obviously the staff's perception of it, and music selection is key, I think, as well, especially in our bars, because you don't want to be playing young pop music when you've got the sort of the wealthy 40s to 50s crowd, and you want to be playing their era music and playing the good songs from their era as well, good mix. So that's for us, that keeps a lot of our business in, is just keeping them there at the bar, listening to good music and the drinks flowing fast.
So music's a pretty big part of it?
Yeah.
So and it's dynamic from night to night, so obviously you're basing it on the customers and the night and what you'd expect.
We have bar, we try and keep consistency.
Yeah.
Consistency for us is key, right the way through from the staff to the drinks to the ambience. As long as it's consistent and you get the same people coming back. Whereas if you vary quite a lot, if you have different theme nights, different nights of the week, people don't really know what's going on or what your house style is. So we do have our house style and our house brand, which we try and conform to, and then obviously then we just see how it goes.
Just kind of start with the same mix every night and then just leave it up to the discretion.
Start with the same flow, and we try and give the bartenders freedom as well of what they do and what they play on the sound system. But obviously there are constraints.
Within reason.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's basically you're just leaving it up to the discretion of the managers on site to manage the progression of the music overnight and just base it on the crowd and the vibe, I guess.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly, yeah.
Cool. So how do you think lighting comes into play when you're trying to create the desired atmosphere, and how do you guys kind of utilise it?
Yeah, our bars are quite dark.
Yeah.
So it's not too bright and too garish. We like to keep the lights nice and low and ambient as well. Nothing too bright and flashy. So just whatever makes it more comfortable and easy on the eye is what we're after.
Yeah. So dimmer lights, I guess.
Dimmer lights for us, yeah, definitely.
And do you find that helps people with the socialising, or does it help people? What do you think about dimmer lights really makes your bars?
Yeah, I'd say people probably feel more comfortable in a dimmer room than they do in a bright lit up room.
Yeah.
I guess everybody feels as if they're on a show when they're all when there's bright lights around. If it's dimmer lights, people tend to relax a little bit more and not necessarily let go, but they just feel more comfortable in the surroundings. So again, it's all about the ambience, keeping people as comfortable as if they feel as if they want to be there.
Cool. So you talked about if you can't kind of get around in a bar, it's kind of frustrating. So when you guys are designing, or how you've designed your bars, how important is the furniture placement and the function of everything?
Yeah, it's very important. Obviously, you want to keep a clear channel at all times, one side of the bar to the other if possible, and if you can avoid cluster spots. And cluster spots tend to be right in the corner of a bar or right in the entrance to a bar. I don't know if you've experienced that yourself. But everybody tends to try and gather around the entrance where they know there's a bartender going to be coming in and out that they can stop and talk to or ask for a drink or something like that.
Yeah.
So trying to keep control of that and the furniture, and again on busy nights is removing furniture to create more standing space. Just so you can get more volumes in without it feeling too crowded and people bumping into tables and chairs. And people are all set up.
When you design the bars, do you kind of think in terms of separate areas, in terms of maybe a wee mini area for one bar, like one type of people, so you can have multiple kind of ranges of people across the bar, but not interacting?
With our bars, they're not big enough really. They don't have multiple bar space for that. We do have a private lounge, like a VIP lounge area, which we can draw a curtain across to. People can sit in there as they want. People can book that out if they want to, and just go and sit in there and have drinks brought to them in there. So there is some of that goes on, but most of the time it is just a case of whoever comes.
Just in, Max.
Yeah, exactly. And again, people come in and they see, because we're a slightly higher standard as well, that they kind of feel as if they should be there or they shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If a bunch of guys rock in and they're all wearing suits and ties and shoes, then they're going to walk in and think, okay, yeah, this is kind of place we're going to have a drink. Whereas if it's ripped jean shorts and baggy hoodies, then they're probably going to walk in and go, oh, this isn't for us, you know.
So
it's kind of one of those things we try and eliminate as soon as people walk in. They feel one way or the other. Or,
Yeah. So what would be the main factors you said in kind of turning away those baggy hoodies and ripped jeans? Like what would be the kind of key attributes of your bar that would let them know?
I think if you walked in and you looked at the bartender's wearing a shirt and tie and a waistcoat, then I probably wouldn't go in my baggies.
Yeah, yeah.
With my skateboard under my arm. But yeah, yeah, I guess, and obviously looking at the size of the back bar as well. I mean, and spirits in the back bar.
Yeah.
This one is slightly smaller, but yeah, if you've got granite bar tops and varnished wood surfaces, and lots of shiny, sparkly things, and chandeliers hanging from the ceilings.
Yeah. Do you think music plays a large part in there as well, or?
Yeah. Again, it depends what the person's coming in for. If they're coming in to have a dance, and obviously that music's going to be a big factor for them.
Yeah.
And if they're coming looking for a jukebox, then yeah, again.
So you think more the visual aesthetics are more important than turning away people rather than the music?
Yeah, I would say. Well, again, it depends which way you're looking at it.
Yeah.
If you're
but like, I'd say a more consistent measure of turning people away rather than like, because obviously people can change in what they want to do. They can come in their baggies and stuff, want to sit down, have a beer, or come in their baggies and want to dance. But I guess the music could be something that, while that could be changed to affect them, the visual stimuli will always be kind of the same, and they'll know.
Yeah, I do think music would play a good part in that as well.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing dubstep and people just want to listen to a nice bit of jazz music or something like that, then they're going to be turned away.
Not many in the baggies that want to come in and listen to jazz.
Exactly, and vice versa as well. Yeah, if
Yep.
you want to come in and listen to like hip hop and R&B or something like that, then you probably wouldn't find it. Probably more loungy style. But then again, it depends what night of the week. If it's a Friday night, then we have a DJ out there and he'll be playing house music until 3 in the morning. So
Yep.
yeah.
Cool. So once someone kind of comes, if someone was to walk past one of the bars for the first time, what about it would make them want to come inside? So what would they see that they'd be able to think that's where I want to be?
The design, the layout, and the branding.
Yep.
Those are the 3 main things, I think. And yeah. So, yeah, if you can hear the music from outside, then that's going to be a good put in if you like that style of music.
Yep. So what about the kind of design and the layout would kind of draw them in?
You've got to have you've got to know what your target market is,
Yep.
and then you've got to make it look appealing to them. With ours, it looks comfortable, clean, and looks flashy. You know?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I mean,
So
you've got to look at your target market and then gear everything around. There's no point. For instance, putting a mechanical bull in the courtyard. You know, I'm trying to think of something like a bit more specific to us. But
yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like if you're looking to put in a younger crowd, and there's no point making everything look really flash and high end because people are going to walk straight past it and not think that they can afford to go in.
Yeah. So some of the design features would be, I guess, kind of the patterning of the rock outside, maybe Bermuda, or the kind of rustic look of the kind of old cabiny kind of thing that you've got going on with Bardo.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and it's like that with minibars. How we talked about trying to rebrand minibar and make it into something a bit more funky and quirky.
Yeah.
And there's talks of maybe turning it into a gin house, like Prohibition gin era sort of style, with like real dark outside with the lights out in the street, and just trying to make it look a little bit quirky and a little bit not necessarily spooky, but just kind of like people can't really see what's going on inside, so they can pipe their head in and have a look and go, this is quite cool.
Yeah.
You know, so just trying to get a bit of mysteriousness about it.
Yeah.
And trying to brand it that way, and so people that way it will just appeal to quite a few people. Like lots of different people will just look at it and go, I wonder what that is, and come in and have a look. Whereas I think with Bardo just kind of looks like a little cottage. It's got a little deck outside with a wrought iron fence around the outside.
Yeah.
And so it kind of gets a quaint look to it before you can get close.
So I'm not sure if you heard the old adage, a crowd attracts a crowd, and
Exactly, yeah.
So how do you guys kind of manage that and kind of react to that when you're kind of setting up the bars or using them over the course of a night?
It's like I say, the crowd attracts a crowd, so it's good to keep people in there.
Yeah.
And if you get a good bunch of people in, and then there's always room to shout at people, whether a round of shots or a round of drinks or something like that, and then that will keep them in for a little bit longer. And like you say, it's good to keep a little crowd in there, so that will attract another crowd, and just people keep feeding off that. And also is having a good selection of music early on, I think, to attract that crowd, to get the crowd in. We're just playing the same music over and over. It can get a little bit boring. And keeping the staff fresh as well. If they come to work and they're all hungover and tired and looking like they don't want to be there, then the first people to walk in, they're going to look in and go, no, I don't want to be here, and go. And so, like we've covered at the start, getting that person to be personable and smiling, happy face, and draw those first few people in. As soon as people see a few people in the bar, then they go, must be worth going in.
So what kind of systems would you have on a given night to keep the staff happy and smiling, even if they weren't hungover? Maybe it's just a long day or something.
Well, that's their job to turn up to work all happy and smiling.
Yeah. So that they understand that's expected of them.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah. I mean, there's everybody's life varies. Yeah. But when you get paid to turn up to work fresh and happy, clean, presented uniform, then that's what you get paid for.
Cool. So once a customer was first inside the bar, what would be the first thing that you'd want them to notice?
How clean and tidy the place looked.
Yep. So just and the entire holistic kind of view of it, like chairs all lined up, kind of clean floors, that sort of thing. Is important.
Yeah, everything looking neat and tidy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so for me, it's one of those things, a little bit OCD. So, like for instance, all the chairs are facing the same direction.
Yep.
All the pillows are fluffed up and put them in the same place on each sofa. Having the candles evenly spaced out on the bar, just all these tiny little details.
Yep.
But if you walk into a bar and those tiny little things aren't done, then it just looks messy and untidy and unwelcoming.
Yeah. Cool. And when they leave, what's the most important thing you'd like them to remember? Like one maybe attribute or one facet of the bar?
Ideally, the whole experience, that they've had fun.
Yeah.
And that they can come back and experience the same thing time again. That they can come back and
so reliability and experience.
Reliability and professionalism, and consistency.
So professionalism from the staff, obviously.
Yeah.
Just running a tight ship, basically.
Yeah.
Cool. So do you put a lot of focus on gaining repeat business from your customers, or do you rely, because of the location of Queenstown, more on a transient night-to-night kind of base?
We try and keep it more of a regular situation, because especially with Queenstown being so transient and tourism focused, we get the quiet times in spring and autumn, and if we don't keep our local base, then that's when businesses go out of business, because they don't have anybody to keep them going in that quiet time. A lot of businesses will close for 2, 3, even 4 weeks through May, and that will stand them in good stead. They'll have they'll have guests and customers to come back to in June and July, but it's only if they can keep affording to pay the rent in that downtime.
Yeah.
So if we keep that customer base, okay, we might not make as much money, but at the same time, as long as we can make enough cash to turn over, and we can keep our regulars happy, keep them coming through winter and summer.
So what kind of parts of your bar, or like what aspects of the environment do you use to create that atmosphere that will keep someone as a regular? As opposed to maybe they'll go around to another bar in the week, so what keeps them coming back to your bars?
Yeah, again, the consistency. That's key for us, is consistency. So, I mean, and recognising, again, it's the staff's responsibility to try and recognise people's favourite drinks and the regular drinks, and making sure that we always have those in stock. That's a big thing. Because if people can't get it in one place, they'll go to the next place that has it. Yeah. Sort of thing. So that's another thing. Product knowledge. But yeah, again, a lot of it is relationship with the bar staff and the bar managers, because the bar managers are there and they sort of play host and get chatting to people and welcome them in and get them involved with goings on in the bar. And so yeah, that to me that would draw me back if I knew the bar staff and just knew that it was going to be the same every time I was there.
Yeah, so with the bar manager, rather than just running the bar, kind of perform like, I guess, more of a maitre d' kind of thing as well, like where they are.
Yeah, I mean they're essentially they're part of the bar team still, so they're still working shifts behind the bar.
Yeah.
And obviously they've got to do a few more admin bits and pieces, stuff like that. But generally, because they are there as the overseer of the bar, any issues go back to them before they come to me.
Yep.
And so that again, that goes with customers. If there's any issues with the customers, they'll go and see the bar manager, or the customers will find out that that particular person is the bar manager, and then they'll start relating to that person more and more and more, until eventually that person builds up that obviously the bar manager's going to be there longest, so he'll know the most locals.
Yeah.
And
cool.
Just keep them coming back.
So, last question now. Ideally, how would you want a customer to describe your bar to someone who'd never been there? One of your bars.
Fun.
Yep.
Stylish. And just a good place to be.
Yeah.
It's one of those things like when you go out, you want to have fun. You want to be in a fun environment, and you want to have a good time, and you want to be able to get a good drink.
Yeah.
Good conversation or good music. So if you can encompass all of that into one area, then you'll do really well.
Yeah.
I think.
Cool. So anything else that you can think of that you might like to add about just kind of the bar experience that you've had with consumer behaviour or customers, how they act within a bar, or what you can do to kind of control that?
Yeah, I think as a bartender, it's like, I think I sort of mentioned it slightly at the beginning, it's not just your responsibility to serve drinks. Well, I don't think as a professional bartender, when you go to work, you go to work and obviously to pour drinks and do the general runnings of the bar, but at the same time you're kind of a psychologist. You're looking at the people that are coming to the bar, trying to judge them, trying to judge their mood. Do they need calming down? Are they raging? They've had an ecstatic day and they're just on top of cloud nine and they're about to drink themselves over the limit and stuff. And you just need to just kind of have a chat to them and prolong the conversation, prolong the time between drinks and promote sort of less alcohol drinks and that kind of stuff. And going the opposite way to having somebody, like I said earlier, has had a down day and they just need you to crack a joke and just bring them back up and have fun. And then you get the other people that just need to be left alone to read their book. They're just here on business and they just want to read their book, have a beer, bite to eat, and then head back to their hotel. Just having to have that dynamism and just be able to read people differently will definitely get you a lot more business, I think, and a lot more positive feedback from the customers. Yeah.
So would you say one of the most important parts of the bar is obviously staff then?
Staff, I would say so, yeah. I mean, everybody thinks that they can be a bartender, and it's not having... it wasn't until I've been in Queenstown hiring and searching for quality bar staff that actually found out how difficult it actually is to find good quality bar staff. Most people can come behind the bar, open a bottle of beer or a glass of wine, but then it's having that extra bit of kind of personality about them to how they get up and go and try and keep people in the bar and keep people coming back. And again, you can go the opposite way. You can have somebody that can come to work. They can be the most productive bartender. They can bash out 10 mojitos in 2 minutes and just be the most efficient person behind the bar. But that's all well and good if you're in a fast-paced environment and you're not talking, there's no customer interaction, you're just taking an order, making a drink, taking the cash, then yeah, fair enough, then there's a place for that, but at the same time you need to have a little bit of personality.
Yep. Awesome. All right. Cheers, Dad. That was great, man.
No worries.